hate Twitter sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes Twitter makes me want to just punch babies.
Link address.
Yeah, let me jump on my tweet bot really quick. That's what's up. Oh shit, I just fucking minimized the thing I need the link for. Asshole. Yeah, my bad that I kinda the past couple of days have been ridiculous.
No excuses.
Always excuses.
Alright, I just tweeted it out.
Oh, shut it down.
Why?
Because there's no phone today.
Seriously?
Yeah, not until next week. I didn't get the piece that I need to make it work.
Bafangula.
It was supposed to come, but it didn't come through Amazon yet, so. Phenomenal. I need another piece to make it work smoothly, unlike the other week when we tried it and it didn't work too well.
You suck, dude.
No, you suck.
Alright, now it's tweeted out the right way. Ugh. Shut it down, shut it down. I like to get phone calls. That's like my favorite part.
Me too, but only when it works. When it doesn't work, it's kind of shitty.
Well, it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point of having it is for it to work.
Yeah. Don't make me punch you.
You can't punch me because we're on the phone.
I'll find a way to punch you.
I will freaking donkey punch you next time I see you.
Please do.
So, Mike, tomorrow I'm probably going to meet... Mike, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm probably going to meet you guys at that bar. I'm going to...
Nice.
I'll make up some Fugazi story in the morning why I have to leave early.
Go for it. We're close by. You're in Midtown, or?
Yeah. I'm on 52nd between Park and Mad, so I'll cut out about 2:30.
Nice.
Start walking over there. I'll hang out with you guys till around 4:30 and still catch my normal bus home.
All right, solid.
You guys suck.
I'm just saying, man. Invitation's open.
I know.
Well, you haven't answered us either for the Red Bulls game, so.
I wanted to come tomorrow, but tomorrow I have to be at the ballpark at 4 o'clock because we're doing the season opener for the Staten Island Yankees.
Oh yeah.
Which, by the way, I didn't know this until today. But I met the CEO of the Staten Island Yankees today because I had to go pick up our press passes, and he was like the executive vice president of the Red Wings when they won the cup, and he has a ring and a picture of him holding the cup.
And you didn't know that until today?
Yeah, I had no idea who he was until I met him today, and I saw the picture in his office.
Nice.
Where did Andy just go?
Did we lose him?
Oh, Buffanabla.
Well, that was quick.
Yes. I always try inviting him again. At least I didn't kick him out this time. I think we couldn't get him back in last time because I kicked him out.
Oh yeah, booted him.
There we go. Yay!
Alright, sorry, I got a phone call and it kicked me off.
Oh, what a bum. So you missed story time then.
So anyway, yeah, so I'll meet you guys there tomorrow, and then we got the Red Bulls game, which you still have to let us know about.
Yeah, that I'll definitely do. But you missed story time.
I always miss story time.
I went to I had to go to the stadium today to pick up our press passes for the season.
What stadium?
Staten Island Yankees.
Okay.
And I met the CEO of the Staten Island Yankees. I had to go into his office and talk to him and get the press passes.
Uh-huh.
And he had a picture of himself holding the Stanley Cup over his head with a cigar in his mouth.
Okay. Yeah.
Because when the Red Wings won the cup, he was like the executive vice president of like their business operations. And
now he's working for the Staten Island Yankees. Must not have done a bang-up job.
But he got well. Now he's the CEO though. It was an upgrade in position, downgrade in leap.
Yeah, downgrade in organization though.
But
a little bit.
But yeah, but he has a Stanley Cup ring and he has a nice picture of himself holding the cup over his head.
Nice.
I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Nice.
I was like, well, hockey's my #1 sport. I didn't quite tell him that I despise baseball, but I told him that hockey's my #1 sport.
Ooh, can't stand it.
Yeah, I make sure.
Almost as bad as the dive today in the Brazil-Croatia game.
I didn't
see it. I only read about it.
The absolute worst. And you know what? It's funny because just 2 days ago, I don't want to pull a somebody we know without mentioning names, but just 2 days ago, I tweeted out, the World Cup starts in a day. Get ready for the diving and the theatrics and the bad calls, and
It's
It took
worse than the
basically
NHL and the NBA.
it took 65 minutes for a ref to mess up that game really, really bad.
That was quick.
I mean, the
It's
guy
so
just
much worse
literally
than
runs
the
by and they just go, they blow on him and he goes flying like he got shot.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody watching the NBA finals?
No.
I have to for work, and Ginobili like swung at the ball, and
I don't care.
when I tell you he missed Dwayne Wade's face by like a good 3 feet, and Dwayne Wade threw his arms up and like held his face like he got punched in the jaw, and they called the foul. I was like, "Dude, you gotta be kidding."
Greatest thing that came out of the NBA finals for me was LeBron leaving the first game with cramps.
Oh, absolutely.
That's all that came out of that for me.
Did you see the Magic Johnson meme?
No.
There was a picture of Magic Johnson, and it said, leg cramps. Does he know what I played with?
Yeah.
That's pretty clever, though.
I was like, I don't even know if you're allowed to do that, though. Like, that might have to get taken off the internet.
Yeah.
All right, so we're live right now, right? Das. All right, so as you guys know, myself, Rich, and Mike will be at the Islanders draft party on Friday night, June 27th at the Nassau Coliseum. That starts at 5:30. Actually, you can head out there early if you want, if you guys want to tailgate, have some fun. The Red Cross is also going to be there from noon on, accepting blood donations. It's a chance to do something good, possibly save somebody with some much-needed blood, replenish the blood supply. So it's always a nice thing to do. If you do that, you'll also be given 2 vouchers for free tickets to an Islanders game this year. So tickets for blood for tickets, however you want to say it. But it's going to be a fun day. Mikey's going to be sitting down finally, one-on-one, face-to-face with the Eric Bolton.
Yeah, there's going to be like safety glass or something in between us, right? I don't want to sit down like
it's
where
like
you can get to me.
It's going to be like a prison conversation.
Right, that's the only way I'll do it. That's the only way I agreed to this.
Who's the safety glass for, though? Is the safety glass for him or you?
Yeah, you guys
I'll be sitting down. I'll be sitting down with Ryan Strome, and Rich will be sitting down face-to-face with Calvin DeHaan. We'll be talking to all 3 of those players that night. Probably 10 to 12-minute interview, Q&A. So if you guys have any questions for them, you can email them to us at ilesinsight@gmail.com, and we'll try to work them into our interview. And then you just got to be on the lookout for the columns that will follow. We'll spread out the columns throughout the course of, July and possibly even into August. July will probably be busy with free agency stuff. So, and then hopefully another thing we have on the burner is hopefully the end of July, we'll be talking to Islanders' current head coach, Jack Capuano, and getting his thoughts on how the team shaped up after the silly season begins, as I like to call it, on July 1st.
I want you guys to ask Eric Bolton one thing.
All right, what's that?
I want you to ask him if we can raise money for charity if he'll punch me in the face on the podcast.
I think he would do that if we weren't raising money for charity.
I'm just worried about Mikey getting out of there alive. Let's get that. Let's get past Mikey getting out of there without any assault charges or misdemeanors, and we'll go from there. But no, it's going to be fun. That's a look into some guys. I know Stromer and DeHaan have been interviewed. At times, I think for Mike to get a good one-on-one with Bolton, a guy who really doesn't get a lot of time with the media, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And I think knowing Mikey's personality and his sense of humor, I'm sure it'll be a serious interview, but there'll be some lighthearted questions in there as well. At least I hope so.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's good to show the fans these guys, have a normal side to them, a personality to them, and they all do, believe me, with the exception of maybe Cal. But so it's good to show that. So I think that the questions will bear that out. I'm begging Rich to ask DeHaan about the Carp Lad thing. So
yeah, we need to know.
I'm begging him to throw that in there at some point. So Stromer, I'm not sure I have much on Stromer to kind of joke around about him. I gotta dig into some. I got to dig into the Ryan Strome files and see if I could find something that I can throw in there that'll maybe throw him for a loop a little bit, but we'll see. Either way, it'll be a fun day. It'll be a fun day out. We'll be able to interact with fans, interview these guys, get them on the, get the columns on the site. And then, as I said, later in the month, we're going to hook up with Cappy via phone, do a phone interview with Jack, and see his thoughts are going into, coming out of free agency and going into the preparations that are made starting in August for training camp in September.
I want you to ask Eric Bolton to sing this song. For those of you who don't get it and who are young, it's Michael Bolton. Get it?
Oh man.
Get it?
Look, I will go out. Let's mark this down right now. I will go out and buy an Eric Bolton jersey if he turns around and goes, I was the more famous Bolton until that ass clown started making hit records. I will go out and buy an Eric Bolton jersey on the spot. I will pay Islander team store price for it. I'll pay team store price for it.
Tell me about the plans you're making. Tell me what before I go.
Mike, you got to start the interview with that song.
He's gonna sit down and go, "Yup, interview over."
Exactly.
Get out.
If Eric Bolton ever leaves the Islanders, we are starting the podcast with that song that day.
You know, I'll be honest though. The one time I did talk to him in the room during last season, he was really like welcoming, and he has a pretty good interview, Mike. So I think you're gonna really enjoy it.
Yeah, everybody I talked to said, Bolton, for
Yeah,
all
he's
the
a good
crap
guy.
he gets from fans, like he plays 6 minutes a night, he doesn't score, he punches faces, all that stuff. Everybody I talked to said he's the best guy in the room, and that's
Yep.
why Garth was so quick to bring him back.
Usually the pugilists are usually.
Yeah.
George Parros. I met Jody Shelley in the tunnel down by where the Islanders were coming in. I was standing there talking to Jesse and the security guard, and here comes Jody Shelley, nicest guy ever. I mean, I thought he was going to step on me, literally. Like, I literally thought he was just going to lift up his leg and step on me. But usually they say the tough guys are nice. I've heard a lot of great things about George Parros, for instance, who today was announced will not be re-signed by the Canadiens. So here's hoping that George picks up with somebody else. One of the nicest guys out there, I've heard. So let's start talking some Islanders, I guess. We do have some news, right?
All right. You want to get this started?
Yeah, we don't even have to play the intro at this point. Everyone knows what it is anyway. We got to find a way to change that up.
Yeah, we do. You need to reach out again and see what we could do.
Well, actually, what was the one that you played?
Bob Bourne.
That one. People were loving that one. I think, partially because it was a change of pace, and B, because it's not something that we would have to go out and get copyrighted. So maybe we want to go to something like that until I can hook up with Brian over at MSG and see what I can work out as far as a call. I don't think any of the old jig stuff would be copyrighted.
Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, you got Rich?
Yeah, I'm pulling him in now.
All right.
Because the old, when you think about it, the old jig stuff was like Sports Channel, right? And like Sportsnet New York.
Oh, Sports Channel, definitely.
So I don't,
Right?
I don't know what the I don't know what the copyright rules are with that. So if I could look into that a little bit, and you know what,
But the company's gone. What copyright rules?
Yeah, who they
company's
sell
not
it? It's
there.
probably I don't want to say free, but it's out there. We just got to find out who owns it.
There can't be a copyright if the company's gone, right?
Unless they
someone
sold the
has to own
rights.
it, though.
What, Shane?
Someone has to own it though. There has to be someone with the rights to it.
You think so?
I bet
Yeah.
they sold it all when they went under.
All right, well, that's your assignment. Find out about a copyright for this old Sports Channel stuff. I can even ask Brian. Maybe he knows. Because everything did merge into MSG, didn't it, at some point? Didn't
Yeah,
everything just
probably.
become MSG?
Yeah, I think so.
I
Well,
probably-
what were the episodes on before MSG though? Because wasn't there something else before they were on MSG?
Yeah, it was like Sports Channel. It was like Fox Sports New York.
Mm-hmm.
I can ask Brian. Don't worry about it. I'll ask Brian. I'll take care of it. I'll find out.
All right, so Rich is getting ready to jump in here.
So anyway, NHL, Islanders. We all know about
Bam.
the Halak thing. We won't talk about that anymore. But Dan Boyle, Mr. Dan Boyle, has been the subject of a
Jesus.
ton of Isles Twitter interaction this week. Will he sign? Won't he sign? What was Snow doing? They're very, very minimal of what was Snow doing coming out of the internuts. I think for the most part, people love the trade. I mean, it's a low-risk trade for the Islanders. Let's face it, a conditional fifth-rounder that becomes a fourth if he signs. Going to be real easy. Boyle, I think, is doing the right thing. I have to give him credit for letting the Islanders know by the end of this week whether he will discuss. There is an offer on the table. It's assumed to be for 2 years. No dollar amounts have been put out there, but he'll tell the Islanders by tomorrow whether he wants to go further in those negotiations or not. So I think that's fair to the Islanders because it gives Snow 2 weeks leading up to the draft to easily get that fifth rounder back. So it's really a no-risk move for the Islanders at that stage. But a lot of stuff came out this week. Will he sign? Won't he sign? Some guy from St. Louis, chirped in, and he's a reputable guy, and he's claiming slim to none. But Boyle's vetting the Islanders, so I don't know what that meant. That's kind of contradictory, if you ask me. Why would he be vetting the team so much if there's a slim to none? You would think that makes the percentage higher than slim to none, but maybe I've never been good at math, so maybe it's just me. But so who knows? I personally don't think we have that great of a shot of signing him. I'm putting it at like 25-75 that we can get him signed. I think he'll end up with a team like Detroit, in my opinion, is where I think he'll go. But again, it was a no-risk move for Snow. It didn't, and it shows initiative on Garth's part to go out and fix and repair what went so wrong over the last year and a half, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, knowing that it's going to be tough to get him signed, he wants to play with a contender, or so has been reported. So no matter how much Garth is willing to offer, $5 million a year, 5.5 a year for 2 years, which is more than he's going to get for Detroit or maybe even Toronto, and they're not really a contender. But I think a lot of people, if he doesn't sign Boyle, will look at Garth and say, man, this is right back to where we were. He calls a free agent, he gets him on the team, and then he can't get him signed, and it's just like Ehrhoff or anybody else who he couldn't ink to a deal. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's the same situation because this is so low risk, high reward that,
yep.
And like you said, Andy, he has the 2 weeks before the draft. If Boyle says, no, I don't want to sign here, they can still flip him for that pick and get it right back. So it's really, really, I think, a good move on Garth's part, whether or not he signs Boyle.
Not only that, Mikey, but I look at it this way too. I say to myself, and I tweeted this out after the trade was made, what a savvy PR move by Snow when you think about it, because he now turns the attention or the venom, so to speak, right back on the player, right? Because now the fans can't come at Snow and say, what are you doing? You're sitting on your hands. What do they say? Oh, you're sitting in Cappy's basement not doing anything. Mm-hmm. Clearly he's not, and by doing this, he's showing fans that he's making that effort, and it's on the player. It's totally on the player. Now, I look at it this way. If Boyle talks to the right people, and I'm talking about the right people being Mike Bossy, John Tavares, Lubo Wisnowski, Evgeny Nabokov, he signs. If he talks to the wrong people, Rob Schrempf, Bill Guerin, Mike Milbury, he talks to guys like that, he won't sign. So it's all about, when you talk about Boyle vetting the Islanders, who is he vetting the Islanders with? Who's he talking to about the team? That's really going to make up his mind for him.
Trying to bring Rich in here, and we can't get him in.
Yeah, he's yelling at me on this thing.
Yeah, he's yelling at me too. I for one was all in favor of the Dan Boyle trade. I like him a lot as a defenseman. I think it was low risk, high reward. You don't really lose much in the draft pick that you got rid of, even if you don't get it back.
True.
But to have the opportunity to have an exclusive window, I mean, you as an Islander fan, you can't be mad because look at what Garth did with his exclusive window with Halak.
With Halak. Well, it was a different situation because I think Halak was more quote unquote air quotes. I'm actually doing air quotes now. He was kind of air quote forced, not forced, but he was in a different situation than Boyle, right? Because the market for goaltenders is slim. In my opinion, and the chance to go somewhere and be a bona fide number one, I think, is really what drove that signing, in my opinion, for Halak. I'm just trying to be honest and, impartial as I can. You know what I mean?
But I don't know. I think Boyle was it was the next step for Garth to make. It shows that he's opening the book and he's willing to really try and bring someone in who's going to make a big difference on the team.
Well, they need a veteran back there. It's clear. Whether it be an offensive defenseman or a defensive defenseman or a mid-range defenseman that does a little bit of both, they need somebody in there with veteran experience. Their defense is so young. It's only getting younger, and you need someone to come in. I always go back to that one moment I saw last year, the Bruin Islander game, when the Islanders had a flurry in front of the Bruin net. It was a regular season game, and Dougie Hamilton had given the puck away twice on the same shift. And as soon as Tuukka Rask puts his glove on the puck, ref blows the whistle, Chara gets right in his face, not like demonstratively as much, but literally skates up to Hamilton, and you could see him literally instructing him on the ice right at the end of their shift on top of Rask because he's got his glove on top of the puck. And that's really, I think, what this young defense needs, is a veteran to kind of show them the way out there, which they did not have last year.
Yeah, I think Garth has kind of struggled in the past to pull in. I mean, he's pulled in veterans, but maybe not the leadership type, and especially on the blue line with all the kids coming up. I mean, Reinhardt is going to be on the team. Hamonic, he fought it a little bit this year. He's got to have a bounce back year this season. DeHaan's going to be there. We still don't know if Donovan's going to get signed, but I mean, it's all young kids back there. So to have that veteran presence who is a type A personality and a leader and someone who can do that thing that Chara did to Hamilton, and kind of set a culture. I mean, Tavares does it very well for the team in general, but to have a blue liner who can do that, I think that would be huge for the team.
And Garth, I'm being told, has not made an offer to any of his restricted free agents as of today. So let that be told. And I don't think that's as big of a deal as some people might make of it with 2 weeks to go to the draft. It's pretty normal for restricted free agents to get signed kind of right in that last week leading up to the draft. I think especially since we're all waiting for the cap number to be finalized, which won't be done until about a week and a half to 2 weeks after the finals end, which is right around draft time also. So I don't think that's really out of the ordinary that he hasn't made any offers to his RFAs yet. He's probably exploring the trade market heavily as well. I hate to say this, but I would have to think that maybe Matt Donovan is a name that could be being thrown out there in trade negotiations as well.
I know you would hate to say that, but and as much as I was a big pusher of Donovan, and I was a big fan of Donovan all season. Would it really be a huge deal if Donovan was dealt around the draft, depending on what we bring back for him?
What do you mean a huge deal in terms of what, though?
In
terms of personally, or in terms of the how he impacts the club?
Not personally, because personally he seems to be one of the higher end personality guys on the team. But I was thinking,
yeah, personally it would kill me.
But
club wise, I think that
it may be one of the top moves to make club wise.
Yeah, I mean, I still think, and I still maintain to this day, that I think Donovan is exactly what this team needs. You saw his tweet after Drew Doughty's mistake in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, right? When he tweeted at Doughty and said, love the high risk, high reward by Doughty. Keep it going. That's, I think, what the Islanders don't have on the blue line. Every guy they have is almost to a point too safe. You know what I mean? And they're not that good at being too. They weren't that good at being too safe either. I think you got to have that one guy that pushes the play, that takes those risks, and he was the guy for me.
Well,
that's how I feel about him. Very valuable in my opinion.
With
the right development.
I want to bring in what Dom's saying on the show's chat page, and while I'm doing that, Andy, can you try inviting Rich in? Because me and Mike tried and it hasn't worked. Can you try giving it a shot while we bring in what Dom was saying?
Whatever you say, Mr. Podcast Director.
Thank you, sir. Dom says, Evander Kane, is there any word on trade talks? Because he would like there to be a TKO line of comparison.
Yeah. He mentioned that on our Facebook page the other night. It was brilliant. Dom's got some. I'm not sure I'm liking the optimistic Dom.
Yeah, I like
different. It's different.
Yeah. The pessimistic Dom is
very. He's very psyched about what's going on, and he should be. But I think he's got a good point about Kane. I think that might be Snow's number one target in terms of if we have any inside info on talks. I don't think many people around the NHL do. Trade talks are always so funny because a GM can tell you one day that a guy is totally unavailable, and the next day he's traded. And that's what makes trade rumors so hard to judge on who to trust with them.
You hate to go back to the old adage, but if Wayne Gretzky could be traded, I really don't think there is an untouchable person in the league.
No, I agree with
Everybody's
that.
for sale at some point. Some GM picks up the phone, he calls another guy, and all of a sudden, they go down a different path. Nobody is unavailable. Nobody is untouchable. As much as we say Tavares is untouchable, if someone makes a Godfather offer, no player can remain immune to a trade.
Right, that's true. I did speak to a contact of mine that writes for the Winnipeg Jets for NHL.com, and he told me that while Kane is, he said to me Kane is semi-available. he doesn't think that with the new coaching staff the Jets have brought in, he thinks they might want to give Kane a chance to gel with that new staff. But he thinks if the right offer is made, he could be had, is what he told me. So I know that doesn't really answer Dom's question, but it does give a little more color than maybe Dom's been getting from anywhere else.
Dom proposes a trade on draft day. It's a trade that I personally don't think gets an Evander Kane trade done, but he says the number 5, Bailey, and another prospect like Mayfield, Pila. I still don't know how to say his name.
Andre Payton.
Andre Piton?
No, Pelech. Pronounce that.
Adam Pelech.
Pelech. And
Pelech,
or
Pelech.
Graham. So Mayfield, Pelech, or Graham.
I think Mayfield, the 5, and Bailey probably gets it done.
Yeah, Mayfield more than anyone else. And you know what? I'd be willing to give up Mayfield, the 5, and Bailey to get that done.
I would do that. I would do Mayfield, Bailey at a 5 for Kane, and then sign Donovan. Absolutely.
That would kill me because I still have faith that Josh Bailey is going to turn around and be one of the top players on the Islanders.
So do I, but you got to give to get, right? I mean,
you got to give up at some point.
He's going to be a great scorer, but he's not going to do it for the Islanders. I think he's going to be a great hockey player once he gets out of the island. I think that's his problem.
That's what I think Jiggs had said that, Rich, right? I think Jiggs had mentioned that.
He had intimated that maybe he needs to change the scenery, and I couldn't agree more.
Hi, Rich.
Sorry, guys. I bolted home. I got here.
No, you were too busy tweeting about the riots in Brazil and the fixes in that game.
Oh man, I quickly just go on a side note here. They gave that game to Brazil. Brazil did not deserve that one. Oh man, that was awful. That was brutal.
Huh.
So what are we up to?
Dom has an interesting opening night roster.
What is it?
I think we should talk about it.
Well, assuming that trade goes through.
Yeah, he has Kane, Tavares, Okposo,
Love it.
Camilleri, and then either Verbata Camilleri or Verbata, and then Nielsen and Grabner.
Wow.
Right.
Nelson, Strome, Lee, Martin, Cizikas, and Klutz.
That's a playoff team right there, boys.
That
is that now? Like we said, I'm not used to Dom being this optimistic. But is this an overly optimistic opening night?
I think I don't know about that, man. I mean, again, we just discussed trading for Kane. I don't think that's overly optimistic. I think that signing a guy like Camilleri to a smart, well, I don't know if Camilleri is going to necessarily want a smart deal. He's going to want a really good deal at this stage in his career. But I personally love Mike Camilleri. I wanted him. For 5 years. I've wanted him.
I would overpay Camilleri to come to this team.
and then you sign a cheap backup like a Thomas Greiss or something like that to back up Halak, or you bring Nabokov back, worst case scenario, to start 25, 30 games, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
No, it wouldn't.
Considering how much he's loved.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's that off the mark for Dom. I really don't.
I think if Snow makes the trade for Kane and that trade gets done, I think that opens the door more to signing a Camilleri or a Verbata.
Absolutely. Because it shows intent. It shows serious intent.
And if they look at this and say, and like you said, Andy, those 4 lines are a playoff team.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you still got to hang on the defense, and you got to hope Halak stays healthy, which we talked about.
That's where you trade for Kane, you sign either Camilleri or Verbata, and then you bring in Matt Green.
No, I don't want. After seeing Matt Green in the finals, Shane, I'd rather have Willie Mitchell than Matt Green.
The speed kills Matt Green. That's the only thing. The Rangers' speed is.
Who I really want, who we haven't talked about, boys? Who's an unrestricted free agent?
Spezza.
Johnny Boychuk.
Oh, Boychuk.
I really want Johnny Boychuk.
I don't think Johnny Boychuk wants any part of the Islanders.
I would.
Thanks for killing my dreams, Rich.
Yeah, that's a short list, Rich. I don't think a lot of people are jumping up and down at that point.
I would throw
Johnny Boychuk. Johnny Boychuk is a tough defenseman, man. He can skate. He's tough in the corners. He throws the body around. I think he's such an upgrade in age and talent over like a Matt Carkner, let's say. And I don't mean to dump on Matt but I mean, God, what a great addition that would be. What a great addition he would be.
Do we all agree that we think the Islanders are on Spetz's do not trade to team?
I don't want Spezza. I don't want no part of Spezza.
But I'm saying, do we think we're on that list? Are we still?
Who cares? Who cares? You know what? Stay the hell away. Do me a favor. Stay away.
By the way, I'm giving you guys a heads up now. I want to do the draft show next week, obviously, since the draft is coming up.
Mhm.
I think we should do first round, all 30
Yep.
teams.
Ooh, interesting. I
and we'll
suck at that, but okay.
We'll rotate through each guy will have a pick at that team, and you decide whether to draft and who to draft or trade.
I have to do
Is
my
Hakan
research.
Lube is Hakan Lube in this year's draft class?
You're ridiculous. Go.
Greatest hockey name ever.
Do-
Hakan Lube. It's the greatest hockey name I've ever heard.
Did we
Oh.
did we go ahead.
Does anyone else think that the inability to do a pull-up is going to hurt Bennett's draft?
Absolutely not.
Because
Absolutely not.
I said that at work the other day. I said I think the NHL is the one league that almost never even pays attention to the combine.
They
Like,
want to. Well, they pay attention to it, but they pay attention to it more from an aerobic standpoint, from riding the bike and seeing how the lung capacity is and stuff like that. They want to see if you're able to play a minute and a half shift if you stuck out there long, rather than if you can do a pull-up. Strength for an 18-year-old will come later.
But the NHL combine is like the least publicized, the least looked at combine, and I really think that was really just a story. That's all that was.
Believe me, there's nobody that was more embarrassed about that than Sam Bennett.
Oh, obviously. Yeah.
He was the most embarrassed person about that.
But I don't think that'll hurt him at all. All right, Rich, what do you want to bring up?
No. It slipped my mind. I just wanted to ask you what did you guys talk about at the beginning of the show? I just give me a
It
quick
was just
recap.
spitballing, really. Just spitballing.
Yeah, nothing really. We haven't
Nothing
really
specific.
done anything concrete. As a matter of fact,
Go ahead.
we haven't even hit the intro yet.
Oh, you guys haven't even started the show yet?
No, it started.
It started.
We skipped the intro.
We're going dry. We're going no intro today, so it's kind of all. It's a free form today.
It's a free-for-all, what it is.
Ooh.
Will the NHL make a rule that they have to clean that snow behind the crease?
You sound like a non-objective Islander.
Oh, well done. Well done. I'm actually going to be doing a column at Islanders Insight over this probably soon, actually, about what I think are the 5 rule changes that the NHL needs to implement or put into the game to make it better. So
overtime, they need to make the delay a game penalty.
I'm not going to talk about it here, otherwise people won't read the column, you ding-dong.
Yeah, but I don't care about your
Jeez.
column. I care about our downloads.
God, why don't you just give it away? I don't have to write it.
You have to put.
You give it away now.
You have to clean the snow around the area.
The Rangers, look. We'll switch gears to the Stanley Cup Final. Mike, what do you think about the series so far, and specifically last night's game?
I think last night's game was probably the best. I know there was a double overtime and all the other stuff that went on in games 1 through 3, but I think that was the best because for the last 20, 25, 26 minutes of that game, of game time, I thought it was the most. I don't even know how to describe it. You know how in soccer they park the bus, put 10 guys behind the ball and just say, you're going to have to go through all of us. That is what the Rangers did, and I've never seen it in a hockey game. And it was actually kind of cool to watch because the Kings said, all right, we know we're going to have to go through all of them, and has what I think is the best team in the NHL to just keep coming in waves and waves and waves and not being able to break through because Hank is back there. And, he got a little help from Strawman, from Stepan, from the snow, whatever you want to call it. But I've never seen a team withstand as much pressure for as long without giving up a goal as the Rangers did. And, your back's against the wall, you're going to play as hard as you can, and they got it done. I don't know how they did it, but you got it done.
What you got to love about the LA Kings, man, is check this out. I picked up on this as soon as it happened. 2 minutes left in the game, and they're pushing for the tying goal. And I'm looking at who's on the ice, and they skate the puck up to center ice, and they dump it into the corner, and they go hard at it. I'm like, is that Pearson? Like, does he have his fourth line out there?
Mm-hmm.
Man, Daryl Sutter just does not care about line matchups.
Nope.
He rolls forward consistently no matter what the situation is. He feels that every one of his lines can get it done. And you want to talk about instilling confidence in your hockey club.
A fourth line out with a minute change, man.
And that fourth
That
line
doesn't-
almost scored with the minute change. That fourth
Well, they were dangerous all night long. That kid Pearson is going to be a damn good hockey player.
they're just
Damn good hockey
they're
player.
so deep. I think that's the only reason the Rangers don't really have a chance to come back is because of how deep the Kings are.
Well, I wouldn't say that. My
Yeah,
friend.
and I mean, and if I may, if the Rangers steal the game tomorrow night,
Kings are in trouble.
No,
They
if the
are-
Rangers win tomorrow night, then
They
then
win the
it
Stanley
becomes
Cup.
interesting. It's not.
Yeah, I wouldn't go
I
that
do-
far, but
I wouldn't
They're in
go
trouble.
that far. I don't think they have a shot tomorrow. The Kings
If
have
they-
outplayed them for. I mean, we saw last night they pounded them. They beat them in
they did.
zone time, Corsi's, Fenwick's shots. Overall just eye test. Whatever you want to call it, or whatever metric you go by. They outplayed the Rangers, and of course the Rangers were trying to protect, and that's kind of their style. They're a very defensive team. They don't have a lot of scorers. But I don't think that makes for a team that can win 3 in a row at this point. You can't play like that.
But
every
here's my counter to this, Mike. What are the two most important things, in your opinion, that you need? And let's take the obvious out of it: skill, grit. Let's take all that out of it. What are the two things you need to win the Stanley Cup? In my opinion, one is luck,
that's it.
Two goaltending.
And the other is
and two is
goaltending.
goaltending. The Rangers have both of those right now. Now, last night they got the luck. They've
Right.
always had the goaltending. It hasn't showed really in the first 3 games of this series, but man, has it showed up big time last night.
Well, yeah,
and
and
that's-
Quick's not that far down. I mean, he's kind of getting it back
Right.
too. He looked real good. in
That's
game
why I think Rich's point is valid. If the Rangers win Game 5 in LA,
It's
man,
a
their
scam.
confidence is going to go through the roof, and I don't care whether the series is at that point 3-2 Kings. That's anybody's series at that point. heading
Right,
into Game
and
6, in
think
my
about
opinion.
it. You come back to the city Game 6. You're
Yeah,
not
it's
losing
gonna
that.
be nuts.
You're not losing that game. You're not losing that game.
I wouldn't go there. I mean, the Kings are a very good road team. 2012, they ran through people on the road. They didn't lose on the road, and they almost didn't lose last night. And the
True.
Garden, we
True.
all like to say this, is like a library. And a lot of the national writers seeing the Garden for the first time last night, all I read on Twitter was, man, this place is kind of quiet for a playoff game.
Oh yeah.
Really?
You know?
Wow.
Even so, and then Game 3 especially, obviously they were getting beat, but
Right.
they were like, out of all the venues that we've been to in the playoffs, this is probably the quietest. So I don't look at MSG, and maybe I'm a little biased, but I don't look at MSG as a true, powerhouse home ice advantage like the Bell Center, or
Well,
something
that's
in
a
that
valid
state.
point.
I don't really see it.
But let's just all bite our tongues here simultaneously.
Right. Let's not do too much work.
Because let me tell you something. If they pull off this Stanley Cup victory, it would basically overshadow anything that any of our beloved Islanders can do in the next 10, 20. I mean, it's like the greatest victory in hockey since 42.
This is
And
true.
and it would be the second greatest achievement in American sports since the Red Sox overtook the Yankees and swept.
Oh,
them.
they would totally crush the 80 Islanders in terms of what they accomplished if they
Yeah.
pulled this off.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, the
Crush
storylines to come out of that for the Kings to come back from 0-3 in the first round and then give up a 3-0 in the finals, like that we would never hear the end of it. It would be an all-time series.
Now, personally, I mean, if you're asking me objectively and impartially, I happen to side with kind of both ears. I mean, I think Mike's points are very valid. I don't see the way the series has gone and the way I've seen with my eyes, the eye test, I don't see the Rangers being able to beat that team 4 straight. They've done it once, they need 3 more. I don't see that being even remotely possible. But then I go to Rich's side, and he's got a very valid point too. With a little bit of luck and a lot of goaltending, stranger things have happened. Hockey's a funny game. We saw it in games 1 and 2. The Rangers were 1 shot away in both of those games from winning both those games.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about it, a Hagelin breakaway in game 1, a Kreider breakaway in overtime in game 2, away from winning those 2 games. They were not that far off in LA.
It's
So-
just
No, I think
absolutely.
Go ahead, Rich. Go ahead.
No, Mikey, go ahead.
Just real quick, I think they caught the Kings in Game 1 because the Kings are dead. They played the Hawks, they played the Sharks, they played the Ducks. They were tired. They were gonna. I pegged them to lose that game outright. And then Game 2, I don't think the Kings have a very good home ice either. I just talked about the Garden, but I don't think the Kings have a very strong home ice advantage either. I think they just got caught in the first 2 games. But I think now that they're well aware that they want to squash any momentum that the Rangers, have gotten from Game 4, I think that Game 5 they get it done.
Well, Jeff Turner has a great point on the page, guys. He says the Devils fans thought the Kings were in trouble after winning Game 5 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and this one I hate agreeing with him. So don't everybody jump on me here. As much as it would suck if the Rangers came back and won, it would be amazing for the sport of hockey in this area.
It would.
He's totally right.
Good point. Good
Totally
point.
right.
He's totally right.
And
Go ahead.
coach,
Rich, what were we going to say before we get away from?
No. What I was going to say is that as a Mets fan, I always pay attention to what the Yankees are doing, but it's stupid. Why? Because the Yankees have a pedigree that almost no team in baseball ever will achieve. So if the Rangers go ahead and overshadow anything the Islanders have achieved the last 30 years, fine, so be it. I agree with Jeff. This should only give ammunition to the Islanders to become a better organization and compete in every facet of the game when they move to Barclays with the Rangers. And I'm telling you right now, I'm hanging my hat on this statement. If the Rangers pull out a victory on Friday, nothing stops them from winning the Stanley Cup. Nothing. Zip.
but I think the Kings come out like absolute animals tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be very worried as a Ranger tomorrow night because the Kings do not want to lose Game 5 at home. They don't want to lose any of the momentum that they had built up through the first 3 games. They don't. You lose 2 in a row, and like you said, Rich, it's a new series now, and the Rangers do have a legitimate shot at the Cup if they win Friday. So.
But think about it this way. The Rangers have nothing to lose except losing, and they lose it in LA.
Right.
So if they lose in LA, fuck it. Screw it. They lose in LA, and at least they can come home knowing that they didn't get swept.
But
if I'm a Ranger,
hold on. What are the Kings thinking right now? Damn, we can't lose this game, guys. We can. So now the momentum shifts just a bit.
The Kings aren't thinking that this is a must-win because they went through the same thing 2 years ago to win the Cup. This is not a must-win for the Kings. This is we'd like to end it now. But this is more of, in my opinion, this is more of the Kings are pissed off that they didn't pull it off last night. That they were a total of maybe 4 centimeters away of winning last night. This is there's no way.
But again, hold on. You're talking semantics. You're saying the Kings were 4 centimeters away from winning last night. The Rangers were that close to winning games 1 and 2.
Exactly.
Well, that's all I read today is how do you define luck? Do you define it as the puck sliding to a rest on the goal line, or do you define it as Kreider just missing in overtime? They're both lucky events, quote unquote.
That's a good point.
And in a short series, luck tends to have a greater impact on the series. But going back to how the Kings may or may not consider Game 5 a must-win game, Shane, I'm going to go against you. I almost think they need to win Game 5, and they know they need to win Game 5 because if you talk to them about their experience in San Jose, when they won Game 4, they know exactly how the Rangers feel right now having won Game 4.
Exactly.
They know exactly, and I guarantee you they have the confidence to say, if we lose Game 5, we have no worries about going on the road and winning Game 6. They're such a good road team. I mean, I think it is a must-win from their perspective that they know what a team down 0-3 feels like after they fought off a sweep.
Excellent point, Mikey. Go ahead, Andy.
The only stat that I'm worried about if I'm a Ranger fan, the only stat that I'm worried about is the fact that they have not scored a third-period goal in the series, and they've been outshot by 27 over the course of those 4 third periods. That's the only stat that I'm worried about if I'm a Ranger fan.
Look,
if they can get their third-period legs going, I'm telling you, if the Rangers win Game 5, the Kings are in trouble.
Oh, in deep trouble.
Kings are in trouble.
Look, aside from the 3-0 shutout in Game 3, every game has been, like we said, a game of centimeters, right? A game of snow getting in the freaking way. Let
me just tell our listeners, that is the one. There's nothing that can happen right now within the Islanders organization. Nothing. I mean, nothing. I mean, the Islanders could trade John Tavares tomorrow for a second-round conditional draft pick. Nothing would upset Rich Diaz more than the Rangers winning the Stanley Cup. Let's make that clear, because he has been very vocal since the series started.
I have broken my silence and my so-called professional, my veneer. I've let it all just hang out because I just can't. It's getting too close for comfort. But I honestly believe that all the stats that we can ring off and read off here about how the Rangers have been dominated, the fact of the matter is the Kings didn't close it out. And whatever you want to say about the Rangers moving forward, the Kings should have closed it out. They didn't close it out, and that's all that matters. Today's 3-1 victory by Brazil over Croatia is a lie on paper. It's a lie because Croatia outplayed Brazil. A powerhouse. Same thing. See, but Brazil won the game, okay? The end of the story, they did what they had to do. The Kings did not. that worries me.
The Kings shouldn't have won game 1 or 2. They got outplayed almost the entire game in games 1 and 2 and still pulled off wins.
But Jonathan Quick showed up for period 3. Jonathan Quick showed up for overtime.
But they got completely outplayed in almost the entirety of games 1 and 2. And
I think game 2. Game 1, I'd give the last 30 minutes to the Kings.
Yeah.
Game 2, I think, went the Rangers.
I think
game
it should
2,
be
the
2-2.
Rangers played well.
They
It
should
should be
have
2-2. Right.
And
I think
the funniest thing is the game that the Kings played. I think the worst in. They won 3-0.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the game that the Rangers played the worst in, they won 2-1.
Yeah, true. Good point.
Yep. Good point.
At this
And
point,
I'll say that, you know.
I sit my top line. I sit my top line. I play for the loss because you're gonna win.
By that logic.
And I'll say this: I've taken a lot of heat for, well, jokingly, for the fact that, as everyone knows by now, my son is a diehard Ranger fan. So is my wife, but I don't even consider her a real hockey fan. She's a bandwagoner. I wrote a column about a week and a half ago when the Rangers made the finals on, an Islanders fan's perspective on the Rangers winning the final. And it was more a column on the perspective of how I view sports at this point in my life. Mm-hmm. And I know people don't understand it, and maybe they can't because they don't have a son that roots for such a closely, such a close opposing team to the team they root for. In this case, Islanders Rangers. But I could tell you this: after Game 3, this is what I mean by if the Rangers were to win the Stanley Cup, I wouldn't be happy about it. I don't want them to win, but I also wouldn't be upset about it because seeing my son after Game 3 was, I'm telling you, it was horrible. Just the look on his face, the look of disappointment,
you ruin
the look
everything.
of sadness, the look of despair. It was
you ruin
terrible.
Everything.
You ruin everything, man.
I'm just trying to give people a perspective that, it's not the end all be all for me. That's why when you hear me talk and people are like, I've gotten comments all over, how can you be so impartial? How can you not be so pro Islander? You're not a real Islanders fan. I've gotten a couple times, which is a joke, but it's because I don't view sports the same way as when I did when I was 17 and I had to go to school and hear it, or I couldn't wait to go to school to rub it in, let's say. I don't look at sports that way anymore. It's stupid. Well, I shouldn't say that because everyone's entitled to do whatever they want to do. But for me, that's just not the way I want to be. At the end of the day, I say it all the time. I'm still going to work. I still have a mortgage to pay. I still have yard work to do. I still have bills to pay. Nothing that can happen in the world of the National Hockey League is going to change that.
That's why you're a fearless leader, Andy, because I am definitely not a bigger person than you. I want the Rangers to suffer. I want them to suffer greatly, and quite frankly, the Yankees, the Rangers, Argentina, Brazil, they can all be at the bottom of the ocean right now, as far as I'm concerned. I just don't like any of those teams, and I don't have any qualms about it. I've kept my cool. I was professional, quote unquote, for many months while we're doing this venture. But the Rangers better not win the Stanley Cup because something bad's going to happen, like in my vicinity, and some TV's going to be broken, some remote controls, some iPods, some cheap phones.
You're ridiculous, Rich. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, Rich. But
I understand what Andy's saying, though, and I agree. And all joking aside, I think I agree with the comment made by the listener Jeffrey. Right? It would be
definitely.
It would be a fantastic moment in the sport. It's what everybody loves, right? The underdog story. Even
not
though
even
I hate
the NHL level, though. What a 3-0 comeback would do by the Rangers for the youth hockey in this area. Youth hockey here hasn't been big since the big boom it had in 94-95 when the Rangers won and then the Devils won.
That's true.
Those two teams won in youth hockey here. I mean, when I started playing youth hockey, we had 2 teams on Staten Island, and both organizations had 3 teams at least at each and every age group. But now some of these organizations are lucky to field 1 team at an age group, never mind 3.
Yeah.
So what it would do for it is it would completely turn youth hockey around in this area.
And the thing is, and Mikey, and see I don't know what you think about this or what any of you guys think, but what is the #1 youth sport played in this country?
Baseball.
No.
Soccer,
right?
Soccer.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good.
And what is it about soccer that attracts people? and it's it's non-contact for those people who worry about that. But it's the fact that it can unify a world for 3.5, 4 weeks because of the pressure, because of the drama, and nothing would spell that that type of success for hockey than a 3-0 Rangers, who are one of the original teams of the league, and from a big metropolis like New York. Unfortunately, it would be a good thing for hockey and a bad thing for me. But
Well,
whatever.
that's the thing, right? They're in the biggest media market in the world. They would have the storylines. They're an original six team. They are the fifth, sixth team to come back from '03, were it to happen, stuff like that. I mean, the fact that the Kings came back from '03 in the same year and then couldn't hold on to the finals. I mean, people will be writing about that for years. And every time the Stanley Cup Finals comes around, people will rehash that storyline. I mean, I'm still hearing it from my friends back in Connecticut and Massachusetts about the Sox when they came back against the Yanks, and I had to go to school or going to high school and just
I was the biggest Red Sox fan that year.
Dude, I don't blame you. He was a Mets fan, so I still hear it to this day, and I'll watch the Aaron Boone home run, and then they'll bring up 2004 right after that, and I will never get away from it if the Rangers win the Cup and they come back from '03. I mean, that would be an all-timer. That would be it.
Peter McKenty says, life of a current high school student Isles fan summed up in one word: brutal.
It is brutal, man. I mean, I thought I had it tough. I mean, you guys, you saw the Cups, or we're closer to them than I am, but I don't know what Petey's going through, man. They haven't been good in 10 years, and he's still fighting through it, so good for him.
Yeah. Well, so
Who's playing the drums?
That's
Not
got to be Rich.
nope.
Well, it's not Andy because Andy's muted, and it's not Mike because he blamed Rich,
It's not me because I'm drinking wine.
and it's not me because my hand's on my lap.
So who the hell is it?
So we got a fifth party in here, or what?
Oh man, what else hockey do we have to talk about tonight?
PK Subban.
Oh,
No, it's
like
always PK.
I'd like to talk about what you would give up for PK Subban. I would like to talk about this because I want us to be the first in line to say that we called it.
What
We
did we
call
talk
you
about today,
one of those
Rich?
guys.
What did we talk about today, Rich? PK
Tempering
Subban
expectations.
is never happening, ever. The bottom line is he wants to stay in Montreal.
Montreal
got
doesn't
the
want
cap
him.
space. There's no way that doesn't happen. There's no way that doesn't happen. Who do they have after him? Markov? Come on. There's no way they give PK Subban away,
You got to
especially
forget it.
having the cap space.
No, they have Douglas Murray. He's going to fill in nicely.
Yeah, Douglas Murray.
All
They
right.
didn't have, if they were really close to the cap, I could see Rich your argument and I would go along with it. But the fact that they have so much money under the cap,
Mhm.
there's no way they don't get that done.
They
No
have
way.
to pay him. He's going to want $1 billion. The way he
$1 billion?
plays, the way he runs it, he's going to want $1 billion.
Canadian dollars.
Canadian dollars. So what's that, like 450?
$450.
Well, the
Metro-
Canadian dollar is
Metro
actually
card.
devalued. The Canadian
It's a
dollar is
Metro
actually
card.
devalued. So
Yeah, I think you have to. We say it all the time. Franchise defensemen do not come around often. PK Subban
he'll
is
get
a
his money.
franchise defenseman. You have to pay him. You have to lock him up.
Yeah, he'll get his money. From Montreal, he'll get his money. He's not going anywhere. Chris Letang is not going anywhere. Why? Not because of his talent, but because of his contract.
Mhm.
Come July 1st, when that contract kicks in, he ain't going nowhere. Nobody's taking
The
on that
Islanders.
deal.
Do the Islanders? No, I mean, I guess it can't happen. You'd have to give up so much. You'd have to give up.
All right, here's a starting package, Rich, that I mentioned to you today. Think about the number 5 overall, which isn't
Yeah.
even, believe it or not,
It's not a
isn't
big
even
deal.
That
Not a big deal.
It's
Not a big
big. It's a nice pick. You're talking about a Michael Del Cal, a Dressati. It's a nice pick. It's not a great
So,
pick. It's
okay,
not
so the
a grand slam pick. So let's talk about that pick. Ryan
Strome,
Strome,
Nelson,
and
and
Calvin DeHaan
no
to start.
I don't-
To start,
Nah.
or
No.
substitute DeHaan with Reinhardt if they want to go younger, even younger than DeHaan. Even that's why it's not going to happen. If the Islanders did that, I would be as great as PK Subban is, and as great as he would be heading into Brooklyn, for a variety of reasons. I wouldn't make that deal. I would not make that trade.
You wouldn't swap
Sorry.
DeHaan for the Subban. Even though-
Dahan / Reinhardt, Strome, and the 5th overall pick to
no,
start.
I wouldn't give up 2 Ds for him. I would give up.
No,
I would.
I said Reinhardt or /
Oh,
meaning
okay.
or Reinhardt or Dahan
Mhm.
with Strome and the 5th overall.
I would
That's
give
a
up
lot.
Reinhardt. I would give up Reinhardt, Lee, and Nelson, and the 5th pick.
Ooh.
Wow, that's a
I
lot
like
too.
Nelson a lot, man. I think
Lot.
Nelson's going to be the number 2 centerman, and
My
Shane knows
report
that.
card,
Out of
yeah,
Jersey.
my report card on Honors Lee comes out tomorrow, and you'll see how high I am on Honors Lee.
You think
love-
I'm the next
I
Matt
made a couple
Molson,
of
but more
comparisons.
talented.
Much better of a skater than Matt Molson.
Yeah,
Has
he's
a nose
Molson,
for
but
the
he's,
net.
he's got that nose for the net that Molson does, and you can't
Yeah.
teach that.
And
He's
his-
the- I
and
think he's the
his-
only guy who goes to the front.
Yes, and he's got the
Yeah.
build to be a Patrice Bergeron if he wanted to.
And
Yep.
what I wrote, not to ruin the report card, but what I wrote also, which surprised me, was his outside speed. Really surprised me. He's
perimeter
not
game
just a
is
north.
pretty good.
He's not a north-south guy. I mean, a couple of times last year, he blew around defensemen with some really good, bursts on the outside, and I think he's got the chance to turn into an in the prime Todd Bertuzzi, who had a 3-year stretch where he averaged 35 goals a season.
Totally became a good
I
one.
know
I just hope he doesn't break anybody's neck.
all right. You had to go there.
Of course, it's requisite.
Opportunity shouldn't be in the NFL.
I'm very high on Anders Lee. I'm not rushing to get rid of Anders Lee.
You wouldn't
No,
give him up for one of the best defensemen in the NHL?
In a package like that, no. If I got to trade Lee, Nelson, a first, and one of those 2 defensemen just to get one defenseman, I'm not doing it.
If they
Okay.
trade Nelson, I'm never rooting for the Islanders again because then every time they buy a damn jersey, they trade that person.
Brock, I think is funny, right? Because Brock, I think, in my opinion, is never going to be a big scorer. I think people expecting him. I look at Brock as maybe a 20, 40, 60 guy, a complimentary guy,
great.
and that's great. That's fine,
great.
but I think that's where he fits in. I don't think he's going to be this 30-goal. He never was in college or coming up through the amateur ranks. He's not going to be a 25, 30-goal consistent guy.
And did I hear you guys right? I think it was Andy who mentioned was it Dom who mentioned, so Colin McDonald's out because my report card on him's coming out on Saturday. And
Yep.
I said of all the Islanders that I can think of, he is probably the one I don't see coming back. And if he comes back, he's on a shorter leash than anybody on that squad. Because his negative, he has a minus 22. Like a minus 22.
Oh,
He had the worst year in his NHL life. And I think moving Clutterbuck down to the 4th line adds some true dimension to that.
I think the whole problem with Colin is he has to change his game, right? He's got that one move. He skates up to the blue line with the puck, dumps it in, and goes and gets it every single time. Like every single
But that
time.
was
I
this
think-
season. Last season, that was Zeke's job. Zeke's was doing the dump and chase. Zeke's was in the greasy areas, and the garbage man, Colin McDonald, was there to scoop up the play. And Matt Martin was over there kicking ass. So that's it.
Yeah. I could see. Art thinks there's no way McDonald's not back. I'm just not sure in what capacity. Is he the
Exactly.
extra forward? Is he the spare scratch?
He's the spare scratch. He's a Marty
I
Reese.
agree. I can't say I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
well, 2 things, guys. Jeffrey Turner brings up a good name if the Islanders are looking to trade for a defenseman.
All right.
Okay.
And with that good name, it also brings up a point that I wanted to ask you guys about. So let's hit them 2 at once. Ready? Keith Yandel.
Yep.
And what do we think of Phoenix becoming Arizona?
Yes and yes.
Phoenix becoming
Yeah.
Arizona.
They're no
What does he
longer
mean by
They're
Phoenix?
no longer the Phoenix Coyotes. They are the.
Oh, they become the Arizona Coyotes? That's what they
Yep.
should have been all along.
because they're in Glendale, right? So
Yeah,
they're
represent the
technically
state,
not
not the-
Phoenix.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got to represent the whole state. In my opinion, that's a no-brainer.
why I don't like Dallas.
Right. They got to represent the whole state. It should be the Texas Stars.
Although, but then how do you do California? Because it's so damn big and there's 3 teams. They can't
cares?
all be
Who
California.
cares about California?
But they do, like in basketball, they do it right. Golden State, right? So you can call them the Empire State Islanders.
The NHL teams in California don't matter because they're going to have to be replaced when California breaks off the country and floats into the ocean anyway. So yeah, it's irrelevant.
But
to talk about the California teams is just silly because they're going to be gone in a couple of years.
but what do we think about Keith Yandel? Is that because that's
Very expensive.
but that's a cheaper trade than Subban. He's only.
I think he'd be as expensive as Subban. In my
You
opinion.
think so?
Exactly. Yeah.
As expensive. Keith Yandel is really, really good. I mean, really good.
I just don't think he'd be as expensive as PK Subban, because PK Subban has the flash. Keith Yandel's kind of as good as
Keith
he is.
Yandel is really good.
Radar, though.
Believe it or not, Keith Yandel would fit better in the
I agree.
the locker room than PK Subban.
I agree,
And
Rich.
I mean, Keith Yandel subtly has never scored less than 30 points in his NHL career.
Keith Yandel on any other team in the National Hockey League is in Norris consideration. That's how good Keith Yandel is, in my opinion. Anyway, I may be off base on that, but that's I've seen him play a lot.
I still despise the Norris Trophy.
Why?
Why?
Because the Norris Trophy is no longer about the best defenseman. The Norris Trophy is now about the defenseman.
Instead of the suitors.
I agree. It should be the top offensive defenseman in the league. That should be the classification of the Norris.
Or there should be another award for the top. There should be the Bobby Orr Award.
Agree.
And then the Norris will be for the best defenseman, because this trophy is no longer about the best defenseman. It's now about the most flashy defenseman who puts points on the board.
Well, look at what we saw last year with the Hart Trophy. Alex Ovechkin beating out John Tavares.
That's such a. Why do you bring that up?
Because it plays right to Shane's. It plays right to Shane's
I know it
point.
does.
The awards are not given out to the truest definition of what they mean.
Never.
I would say the last Norris Trophy winner who was a legitimate Norris Trophy winner was 2 years ago with Lidstrom.
Nick Lidstrom, yep. Nick Lidstrom, did you watch his retirement ceremony by any chance?
No.
I did, because retirement ceremonies for players who I grew up watching are just like the thing for me. Like I still have Steve Yzerman, who was my favorite player of all time and still is, on my DVR. That's how much I like. And I watched Lidstrom's, and when they were rattling off this guy's numbers, oh my goodness gracious! I mean, go look at Nicholas Lidstrom's career numbers, and you tell me that guy wasn't the greatest defenseman of our generation on both sides of the puck. Absolutely sick. Never a minus player in his career. Ever. Never.
Yeah, what was his career plus minus? It's absurd, right?
He was unbelievable.
Plus 450.
And they said he was as classy as he was on the ice, he was even better off the ice. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But you're right, Shane. That was the last true definition of a...
Yeah, I agree.
Well, Chad, we're gonna put his comment into lighter terms. He said you guys are, hello,
Exactly.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, that's definitely me.
He said you guys are you guys are trying to piss up a rope. No GM is gonna trade a top 10 D-man ever.
Is that a
Okay.
saying? Can we address that for a second? Is that a saying?
I've personally tried it, and I can definitely piss up a rope. I've done
Okay,
it.
so it's I just didn't know if we're introducing phrases here.
I'm trying to think of
I've done
physics. I don't think it's possible.
I've done it. I've pissed up a rope. I've crapped on a hat. I have done
Okay,
all
now
those
we're off the
things.
rails.
And I think, and I have to bring up Josh's comment, because finally someone who listens to the show agrees with me. Josh says, I completely agree with Shane on the Norris. That's how we rate defensemen nowadays. We don't care about their D play. It's about how many points they can score from
That's
the
right.
ball.
That's true.
I do agree with that commenter though. Rich said it before, and that's why the commenter is saying we're pissing up a rope. But Rich did mention it before. We're kind of spitballing with defensive names right now. Rich mentioned it before that I'm not sure if it was Rich or Shane, but one of you said that these guys, maybe even it was a good Mike. These guys don't become available. They're not made available.
Mikey.
They're almost nearly damn impossible to get. So we did acknowledge that for the record.
No, it's just fun to talk. I mean, Cap Geek has their armchair GM. We're here just bullshitting about
Absolutely.
franchise D-men, possibly come to the
Absolutely.
island. Nothing wrong with that.
Rich,
When we're done off this call, I'm going to go piss up a rope, and I'm going to so you guys don't believe me.
Typical Thursday.
but Rich just has this unrealistic fantasy about PK Subban being on the Islanders.
Well, it's the same obsession he has with Nabokov, right? He gets fixated on a guy, and that's it. He'll take him out to dinner. He'll spoon with him. He'll do whatever he has to do.
I'm just waiting. I don't know why, Rich. Why are you not clamoring for Raphael?
For DS.
It's spelled
because he's tainted. He's tainted now.
Because he plays for the Rangers.
Yes, I don't want him now.
He's dead to Rich now.
yeah,
That's
he's dead to me.
I mean, he does spell it differently too. So I guess there's
You
that.
share my name. You share my name. Patooey. I spit on you. I spit on your red, white, and blue jersey.
I spit on you.
He's dead to me, and I ripped my shirt. I love the death.
Did you see the picture I posted the other night of my dog eating the Lundqvist
Yes,
jersey?
yes,
It's fantastic. I'm like, even Jake's had enough. That was in Game 3.
You should make the dog eat Lundqvist.
He started going off on the Lundqvist shirt. I was like, Jake, go for it, baby. Go for it.
Yeah, but then you got to go out and
Have
buy
at it, pal.
a jersey.
Okay, so
This is true.
of everybody
This is true.
here in the show, Mikey I know is going because he's like, he's got the money. Andy's going to go as press. Shane, are you going to Barclays?
What day is it?
Barclays? What do you mean Barclays? Training camp, Rich?
No. The other matchup with the doubles. I think it's the 17th.
Oh, you're talking about the preseason.
Preseason.
You can't ask me this in June. I don't know
I
what
got.
You
tomorrow.
got to save up for it, man.
Let me see what I can do. Remember last year, I know a guy who works there. He put me on the glass for the game. It was sick.
Nice.
So
I
if you
don't-
got,
I may not be going as press. We got to see. That
Why
hasn't
not?
been decided. in
God
stone.
willing.
It's
No.
us three need to hash that out. I'm not going to arbitrarily
Rich,
say I'm going as press.
Rich, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, Rich. Come on now.
It is a
I
long
still
one.
haven't answered Andy about the Red Bull game.
That's
You
true.
still have it that you were going.
That's true. He hasn't answered me about how I asked him yesterday how he was doing. He hasn't answered me about that yet either. I have no idea how he's doing.
Listen, you guys don't understand what these past 2 weeks have been like running around trying to get
Oh,
things ready.
Please, will you stop? Zella's he's swamped, and he still managed to get a report card out today on time.
I got a report
Come on.
card out.
Please.
I got a report card out.
Please.
I don't want to hear that. I'll smack you.
Please.
No,
Okay, so are we going to Red Bulls, Mikey?
I'm going. I'll be there.
Alright. Andy, we're going. I know I'm going.
but what's the
We got
date?
so far we got me, Mike, Rich, my son, Joe Pantorno.
Nice.
Who
I think
else agreed
Pete's
to
going,
go?
right?
Pizza maybe. If Pete wants to go, Joe can give him a ride. So
Yeah.
Pete, if he wants to go, is
What
in.
about Transfer Phillips? Is he going?
Shane's a maybe.
What's the date?
Who?
Chris.
Wait. Chris is going to be away. He's out. Zella's out because he's up in Oswego.
Chris is
Powers
gonna
is
To be.
Chris is going to be
Powers
in.
Powers is in Canada, and I wouldn't pay for his plane ticket, so he's pissed off at me.
That's tough, man.
Reagan's eating deep dish in Chicago, so he's out. Still trying to work on getting internet back.
He's not back up and running still? That sucks.
Not that I know of, no. Yeah, he's been really getting jerked around. So it looks like it's going to be like 5 or 6 at the moment.
What's the date again? I know I said all right, but what's the date?
The 12th.
Saturday,
12th.
July 12th.
Oh, that's perfect. I can do that.
I can get front row tickets in the second level in the corner for $20.
Nice.
Mikey, if it's not too awkward, I'll drive you back to Brooklyn.
That is fair.
That's
I was thinking of how much the train's gonna suck. New Jersey. I'm sorry, guys. New Jersey Transit is the worst.
Do you have an
I can-
unmarked van, Rich, that says "Come here"? Candy
It says free
inside?
candy, actually. Those are the only vans that I like to ride in. So
It
yeah.
has
Mike
Pennywise.
only rides, and Mike needs to be blindfolded
And I
and
dress
his
up
hands
as-
tied behind his back.
I dressed up as Pennywise.
And dressed up,
You see Rich
dressed
drives
up
around
like the,
playing
like-
the ice cream truck song.
and dressed up like
That'll
the girl
be
in the
great.
Wendy's commercial.
No, Rich,
I'll-
that would be awesome, man. You'd save me like 2 hours. That would be
No
great.
worries, man. No worries.
Mikey grubs rides all the time. I remember I gave him a ride home last year after our interview with the Coliseum.
Yeah, you have no idea how
So I gave
cheap
him a
I
ride to
am.
the train station.
That's
Yeah,
perfect.
Mikey just grubs rides. That's what I'm saying. Mike's a dangerous guy because he'll take rides from anyone. He kind of worries me a little bit. Now. So I kinda
Anyone. So if you
take
guys
that
don't hear
father-
from me for a while, you know
Well-
what
I take that father stance with him. I worry about that.
That's how I know Rich is pulling up.
Rich, we have done a poor job teaching these kids about strangers.
I know.
Very
we
poor
have.
job.
Your generation
Very
failed.
poor job. Terrible,
All
terrible parenting.
So
You got a
I'm
point.
excited.
I did come to meet you guys in a parking lot, actually, outside the Coliseum, without having met you before, only on the internet. So
Well, it's kind of
I
funny
thought-
because again, I'll never forget that day. You and Rich were there, and I got there at the last one there, of course, like I usually am.
And who's standing like 10 feet away?
10 feet away, I'm looking at Mike and Rich. I'm like, guys, that's Mike Bossy. Rich goes, no, it's not. That is Mike Bossy. I walk up to Bossy, totally blow it. I walk up to Bossy, extend my hand. I say, Mr. Bossy, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you, sir. He looks at me and goes, he like kind of leans in a little bit and goes, And you are?
Like what? You don't know?
Right. It would be nice if I would have introduced myself to you since you have no freaking idea who I am right now.
He probably gets it a lot.
Yeah. So I totally blew it, and then we went in and absolutely nailed the interview, so that made the day a little bit better. So
Boo that man.
I didn't mess up the second time though. And then at Barclays we ended up meeting Morrow. Remember we met?
Oh, he was fantastic.
Ken
Such
Morrow.
a nice guy.
Yeah.
Such a nice
Yeah.
guy.
But I brought my bodyguard with me when I met Andy the first time.
Oh, his girlfriend, yeah, Dana, yeah.
Yeah, my
That's
little
right.
my little
He did.
3 foot nothing girlfriend.
Hey,
was my
she's
bodyguard.
tough. She gave me a run for my money. We went like 10 rounds. It was
Oh, and
we had to
she
stop
definitely
because
won.
the game was starting again.
Yeah, she's a tough cookie. She would
got
win.
some good shots in.
My money's on
Yeah.
her.
He did. He did bring. He wouldn't come meet me by himself. He had to bring Dana with him. That was kind of funny.
I was like, listen, I'm walking out here to meet. This could be some catfish right now. I'm bringing someone. At least if I disappear, someone knows who did it.
And then Shane's maybe like 2 centimeters taller than me, and he's got the nerve to rip on my height in the Coliseum hallway. Seriously, dude? Like,
Inch on you. I have at least an inch on you. I don't want to hear that.
all right, maybe an inch. But don't forget, I'm a lot older than you. So but don't forget, I'm shrinking. I'm a lot older than you.
But listen, guys. On a side note, getting back to hockey, so because people don't want to hear about our private lives, etc.
The
too late
They
for
don't?
viewers went up.
They don't?
The number of viewers went up.
Yeah, the FBI's listening in now about
Dude,
windowless
like what?
vans and
Hey, the CIA.
strangers.
The CIA's got a Twitter. And I still want to know why the hell the CIA has 90% more followers than they're following. They're really not doing Twitter right. They are not doing Twitter right. They're only following 35 people. What the hell's up? I actually tweeted at them the other day and asked them if they could Twitter verify me. I'm dying to get Twitter verified. I figure they can get it done. Mike's already on the watch list. He was on the
Oh, I made
first
that
day.
a point the day they came out.
He's already on the watch list.
If I can't
They're
get
following
verified, at least I can get on the
35
most
people.
wanted.
Goddamn government can't do nothing right. They can't even do Twitter right.
Well,
Gosh.
let me ask you this: who?
Did you see Grabner? I'm sorry, Rich. Did you see Grabner tweeting at trolling
my
Ranger
God.
fans last night?
Oh
you
my
see-
God, Grabner was phenomenal last night.
Did you see him?
Grabner's trolling Ranger fans, and then somebody tweets at Grabner and goes like this and goes, why isn't the Islanders Twitter as entertaining as you? Maybe you should run it. He calls out Kimber. He goes, because my good friend Kimber runs the Islanders Twitter.
Ruthless.
Calling out your own PR. I was like, this is fantastic.
Grabner was yeah. Oh my God, I was loving every second of it.
He was on the ball last night.
Now, I'm
All right,
gonna.
so Rich, I apologize for interrupting. What were you
let's
saying?
revert back here.
No, I forgot.
All right, Rich.
Short-term memory.
Yes.
No, but
The
Pete
two my
says
things
Andy's too small to scare, and
What?
I agree.
What, Shane?
Pete says Andy's too small to scare anyone.
Pete, you know what Pete's gonna get? Pete, you know, Pete's like that 9-year-old that when I was 13 thought he could kick my ass, and I gave the kid a beating on my stoop. That's what Pete's like.
I
But
bet.
Pete's gonna get one of two things. Pete's either gonna get hung up by his underwear right on that Islanders gift shop in front of the gate 14, and left there for the entire game. That's number one. Or number two, he's just gonna get fired. I mean, it's really, those are the only two options for Pete.
My
at this
money's
point.
on Pete. My money's
By the
on
way,
Pete.
don't
Really?
forget that
Really?
Dom DeAngelis is coming to New York.
Yeah, Dom's
And-
scary. I don't want to meet Dom. Dom's
I'm gonna give you a headlock and say it again. You know, listen.
Dom's gonna give me freaking noogies and then give me
I don't think Dom is
and then suplex me on the fucking Coliseum hallway.
I think Dom is a computer-generated voice just to troll us. But then to revert back to the hockey world for at least a couple.
And let me just say one more. Hold on. Let me just
Oh
say
my
one more thing
God.
to Pete. Pete, I keep telling you, it's not how big you are; it's how crazy you are. When are you gonna learn that, dude?
No, that I agree with 120%.
I have seen guys outsized by 6 to 8 inches literally whip the living crap out of somebody because they're nuts. So just know that. Know that, punk. Know that.
Can we revert back to hockey now for a couple of
Yes,
minutes?
go ahead.
All right, Jeff
Pete
Turner.
got me agitated.
Jeff Turner says if you want a franchise defenseman, he's sitting at the top of the draft board this year. And I said yes, but he'll be. I replied in the comments. I said he'll be gone by 5, and it's expensive to move up.
Yeah.
But they already got their franchise D man. The older Reinhardt is the guy.
I
Is the
believe
guy.
that.
He's there. He's
The
going to be here for the
Panthers-
next 10, 15 years.
The
But he's a
Panthers have
bust.
gotten one. I heard valid, what they term to be valid offer for the number 1 pick. One.
Mhm.
And I'm
Say that again.
Yeah,
I would not look for the Islanders to move up. If
Andy,
anything,
Andy.
I'm looking.
You got cut off.
I'm
Say
not
that
looking
again.
for the Islanders to move up. If anything, I'm looking for the Islanders to trade that pick.
No, but what were you saying about the Panthers? You said one
Can you hear me
legitimate.
now?
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, they've gotten one what they term to be legitimate offer for the number 1 pick.
And who's that from?
With 2 weeks to go to the draft.
And who's
They
it
didn't
from?
say who it was from. They didn't say who.
They didn't say who, but it wasn't. I very
I'd
wasn't
be
from the
willing to
Islanders.
bet it wasn't the Islanders.
No. I don't think
What
the
I-
Islanders, as a lot of other GMs do, they don't view this draft class being that big, and it's a lot of GMs also don't like the UFA market, which is why they're expecting trades to be heavy.
By the way, I totally veering
We'll have a
off.
lot of work to do.
I wanted to go back to something. I remember what it was that I wanted to mention. I wanted to talk about the broadcasting of the Stanley Cup for a minute, if you wouldn't mind, and comparing that with all the journalism that I've been reading. Any of you guys have been zeroing? Have you guys have anybody you're reading consistently? For me, it's the score. I think the score is covering the Stanley Cup rather well.
No.
And
Bourne stuff is good. Couple guys at
LeBron's pretty
Deadspin,
good.
actually.
And Deadspin. All right.
Yeah, Barry Pachetsky is good, and Ryan Lambert posts his stuff there. He's good. Other than that, I don't really read I guess mainstream stuff, for lack of a better word. I don't read ESPN anymore. I don't even read like LeBron and Burnside. Like, their long features are good. I don't really care for the prototypical game recap stuff.
Is there something?
Everything's been pro Kings anyway.
I just think that I think the color commentary with Eddie Olczyk is fantastic, but I think in the booth, I just don't feel like I think there needs to be a change between those guys, man. And Pierre McGuire needs to just go.
Yeah, he's awful.
I just think that it's just awful, and if we want to, go ahead.
I was so hoping he would be the damn GM of the Penguins, so he wouldn't.
Oh my God, you and me both.
Cool.
Like I really was hoping that Pierre McGuire. When that rumor came out, I was like, God, please.
No,
do
that
us-
wasn't a rumor. He was a finalist.
He interviewed twice.
He was a finalist.
Please, you know what? That means there are no hockey gods. That he did not get that job means because that means we are stuck with him doing the between the glass again.
Well, thank God in NHL 15 they put Ray Ferraro there and not Pierre McGuire. Could you imagine? I would not have bought the game. Now, I've seen the demos and I've watched a couple of videos the last couple of days. Emmerich sounds brilliant in NHL 15. Brilliant.
Can't
It
wait.
sounds so great with him in the game, but they put Ray Ferraro.
Thank God.
Thank God put Pierre. And it's actually funny. I read an interview today with that guy Ramajan, who's like the lead producer developer on NHL 15, and he said that they're actually going to have Ferraro in between the benches in the game.
That's
You're
cool.
actually going to see Ferraro in between.
That's great.
That's
But-
pretty cool.
Can you hit Ferraro? Like, can you like?
No, no. But they're actually. It's actually cool that. They're
But I
actually
wouldn't wanna
putting
hit
a
Ferraro.
video representation of Ferraro. But
I just want to keep hitting.
what bothers me is
Scott
Islanders
Kane
Rangers
off.
aside, Islanders Rangers aside, as a hockey fan, what's bothered me about the coverage has been the lack of what I feel to be impartiality, in my opinion. And it's not a Rangers Islanders thing. It's not a Rangers thing at all. It's just as a hockey fan watching this game with no vested interest. I have not heard everything's been pro Kings, everything, and that's just a fact in my opinion. It's just how I've heard it.
I think it's easier for them to talk about because Doughty is fun to watch. He's electric. The Kings have 4 lines. They have a lot of players that they can talk about the recent history, winning the cup. It's very easy and even with the advanced stats, I mean, they're so good at possessing the puck. It's easy for even that angle to get played up a little bit. So it's very easy for national broadcasters to kind of harp on things. So yeah, I can see that pro Kings slant kind of.
And I wonder, I guess, ending on this note, is Howie Rose the voice of the Islanders once we move to Brooklyn?
Honestly,
Yes, honestly.
I hope not because I'm definitely putting my resume in for that. When I'm dropping a resume, I'm dropping a demo. The minute they move to Brooklyn and all that stuff's up in the air, I'm dropping everything I could find.
Shane, why don't
Shane's
you
gonna
walk us
drop
through
it
a
while it's
call?
hot.
Why don't you give us a little demonstration right now?
Shane's going to drop it while it's hot.
Because I'm not watching a game. You know what? The first Islander game of the season, I'll record myself doing a call and I'll put it up on the podcast website. How's that?
Done.
Okay.
Done and done.
Done and
Hold
done.
you to that. Hold me to that.
Well,
I'm going to send you a signed contract tomorrow that you're going to have to
Shameless-
sign. And
shameless self-plug here, but if anybody wants to go on tunein.com and look up WSIA, tomorrow night at 7, I'll be doing the Staten Island Yankee game.
that's baseball.
Oh, yeah?
Who wants to listen to baseball?
No one wants to listen to baseball, but you want to listen to me.
There's one thing worse than watching baseball, and that's listening to baseball.
Unless I'm doing it.
And still
You suck.
bad.
Swing and a miss, and he scratches his nuts.
The only thing, Andy, about NHL 15 that I would have been okay with if they did pick Pierre Maguire
Mhm.
is I think, and I may have played NHL 14 twice with the volume on. I put the volume on mute and I listened to music.
Well, I turned the commentary off. I like the sounds, but I turned the commentary off.
Travis
Travis
Harmonic shoots.
yeah.
Travis Harmonic. Dehan.
Dehan.
I have a legitimate question about the broadcasting of this year's Stanley Cup Finals. Now, since it was brought up,
Mhm.
why is Doc Emmerich going by Mike?
I don't know. That's a great question.
I know it's his name, but when has he ever gone by Mike Emmerich?
Never.
He's always been Doc. Now all of a sudden, before the game, he was like, "I'm Mike Emmerich," and I'm like, "No, you're not. You're not. Yes, that's your name. But that's not you. You're not Mike."
I just want to hear the Docisms in the game. They better
Yes,
have
we should
waffle
have
boarded.
we should have Doc Bingo. Doc,
They better have waffle board.
Waffle boards in the center.
wall, and he fires.
I love
and
Sashade.
Sashade. That better be in the game, man. You want authenticity. There's nothing more
Paraphernalia.
authentic than
Mike,
that.
I tweeted that to you the other day. Paraphernalia. That was hilarious.
We should make an NHL 15 Doc Emmerich drinking game.
And here he comes with the puck from Shattuck St. Mary's. That's all blown out of proportion too. We all know where these guys went to college. Tell me something I don't know. Tell me where they went to grammar school. Tell me where they went to pre-K. That's what I want to. That's what I want. That's what we want to know.
Right? He's like an ESPN
Come on.
personality that's
Yeah.
it's kind of getting out of control, and everybody knows that he uses the full first name. Even the players are kind of like, all right,
no,
we
but
get it.
did you guys
See
hear
what
the
he-
commentary? Wait, did you hear the commentary for the soccer match today? They were talking about the goalie from Croatia. and
We
how
just stop
he
with the
lives in a
soccer
monastery.
stuff.
He was.
Oh my goodness, ain't a
he
World
lives
Cup
in a
show.
monastery. He's wearing the Virgin Mary's T-shirt underneath his goalie jersey. I'm like, what
Did you see when Subban kissed McGuire
No.
after the Canadians won?
Yeah, that was
the
fantastic.
second round. Yeah, he was interviewing Subban, and Subban's
Google
like,
it, Rich. Google
Sub-
PK Subban kisses
Yeah.
Pierre. You'll love it.
Subban goes, conference finals, baby, woo! And he kissed.
He kissed him right in the cheek.
Maguire.
Pierre was
It
so
was
giddy.
great.
I've never seen him
It
laugh
was
that
awesome.
much.
I'm
Only
just
if Crosby would have did it, would that would have made his day? Forget it.
I'm just waiting
Yeah.
for an announcer. I'm just waiting for an announcer to be like, and here comes Travis Hamonic. He peed himself when he was 12.
Right, I want to know that.
He was a
Pierre, tell me
bedwetter
where they
until
went to-
11. His mother.
Come on, Pierre. I could go on ESPN.com right now and see where they went to college.
John
We all know
Tavares
that.
coming down.
Impress me
Tell
with
me
some-
something I don't know.
He has 3 root canals, and
He lost his first tooth at 4. That's what I want to know.
Give
How
me
long he was in diapers? When did he was a quick potty trainer? That's the stuff I want to know. I don't want to know where he went to college. I know that
Tell
already.
me when he learned to read and what his first tell me
Right.
what his first word was.
Right. Was he a late crawler? Did he walk early?
Here's
Come on.
Pierre Maguire. His first word was Crosby.
His only word is Crosby.
whatever.
I
All
love.
right, so for the Islanders, we got we got Halak, we got Boyle to talk about. We talked about Halak, we talked about Boyle. We talked about the defense. Talked about the forwards a little bit. Report cards will continue. Obviously tomorrow, and then Rich has 3 great ones coming out back to back to back. He's got Colin McDonald, Matty Martin, and his favorite, which he's taking the extra time on. I noticed he's got the McDonald and Martin ones done, but he's taking extra time on the.
In all honesty, I sent out a mass email to everyone to see if I could switch because I wanted to give it time to see if they did anything with the goalies between now and the end of the month. And more importantly, I honestly, now that you brought it up, I think Islander country, owes a humongous debt of gratitude to Mr. Evgeny Nabokov. I'm sorry.
Gratitude.
Yes, gratitude. Gratitude.
Why?
Gratitude. Because he
Explain,
is.
sir. Explain, sir.
Okay, first of all, he's above 500 since he's been here. He got us to the playoffs. What more do you want from the guy? He's been here for 2.5 seasons. He did what he had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody he gets a short end of the stick because they want him to be freaking I don't know, like, what the hell? He's not Ken Dryden, guys. He's Nabokov. He's doing the best he can with nothing in front of him. No,
with the
he
sound
gets a bum rap, and it pisses me off. He gets a bum rap.
Mike, take this one. I can't take this one.
I'll be honest. I was on Twitter and I did not hear a word you guys said. And that's how I got through high school. Anyway.
Michael Wilhoff's honesty is refreshing.
Yeah, I'm not even going to pretend to be listening to you guys at this point. I'm sorry. I can't do two things at once. You know that.
All right.
Good.
Well, thank you guys for listening to episode number 29 of the Dump and Chase podcast. There was no intro, but that's because we're trying to work on a new one. But this was episode 29. Andy Graziano at Tasman19. Is there anything you would like to plug?
Thanks for listening, guys. Keep it tuned in. The report card series continues. As I said, Eric Bolton, Ryan Strom, Calvin DeHaan interviews coming from the draft party. Please send your questions to ilesinsight@gmail.com. We'll work them into our Q&A that us three are going to have with those players. And thanks for all your support.
Michael Wilhoff, who is still at Michael Wilhoff. Is there anything you would like to plug?
More of the same. Keep listening, keep reading. IslandersInsight.com. We appreciate the support, guys. Stick with us.
He's still not paying attention.
Rich Diaz Rodriguez, is there anything you would at RDNHL? Is there anything you would like to plug?
No, thank you guys for having me, and thank you everyone for listening and reading. Yes, I hope the Rangers lose and lose badly. Argentina, Brazil, the Yankees, and DC United. Bye.
Go Italia. Go Italia.
And Italy. Put Italy on that list too.
And I'm Shane Blackburn. You can follow me at ShaneBNHL. All right, let's plug IslandersInsight.com, the Dump and Chase Podcast.com. Follow us all on Twitter, because follow Michael Wilhoff on Twitter. He's really the only entertaining one. We just kind of spew Islander stuff.
This is true.
Is entertaining. Let's go USA, even though they don't stand a chance of getting out of their group. Make sure you listen to me do some play-by-play tomorrow. If you're bored, sitting around, whatever. And until next time, God, let's go Kings.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I am heading out early because I need to take a shower. Oosh. Too hot.
Wow, that went fast.
It did. It was fun.
Time really does go fast when we're on. I have no concept of time when we're on these things.
Okay,
Awesome.
Mikey.
Good thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm glad we were able to hook you up, Rich.
Yeah, thank you. That was awesome. And I honestly try to run here, man. Whoosh. All right,
No,
so
I appreciate
can
it.
we
I love
all,
having you on.
So Andy, Mikey, Shane, I know you're in Staten Island, so maybe not, but you tweeted out something about meeting up. So Saturday, I already have it squared away, Sunday as well, but what about next week? What are you looking at? Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, tomorrow Chris is going to be around. He says he's off, so we're going to go to a place near Times Square. I know Andy's going to stop by.
Okay,
a couple
what time
guys
is
on
that?
Twitter said they'd stop by like 2:30. It's 7th Ave between 48 and 49.
If
Yeah, I'll be there around. I'll probably be there around 2:45 or so.
Okay.
all right, I'll let you guys know how it turns out. Because
Mike,
I don't know if
are you
I'm
definitely getting there around 2:30ish?
I'm going to be in the city at like 12:30. I'm going to have lunch, and then
Are you off
I'll be done
tomorrow,
at 2. I'm off tomorrow. I got the whole day.
All right.
All right.
So,
do me a
I mean, whatever
favor,
you guys want.
text
I figure we'll
text
watch
me when
the-
you're on your way there, and like I said, I can head there around I could probably be there around 2:45, 3 o'clock the
All right,
latest.
but before I go into this situation, I'm not sure yet. But are we?
It's completely up to you. I mean, there might be as many as 10 people there from the
But
responses I've gotten
but
so
my
far.
question is: are we all rooting for the Dutch? I hope, or are we rooting?
Who's
for
playing?
I'm
Netherlands
rooting
and
for
who?
the Dutch. It's Spain, Netherlands.
Right.
Spain, Netherlands. I'm rooting for Spain.
Oh, you dick.
Yep. Only because you guys are rooting for the Netherlands.
Well, I figured.
I'm rooting for Spain.
Yeah.
Some people.
All right, Shane. There you go, buddy.
double douchebaggery tonight.
Well, this
Yes,
way.
let's go Spain.
this is it just hit me. It's the rematch of the last. It's the
yeah,
finals.
it is. It's the finals all over again.
I mean, these guys don't like each other. I think this could be a great game.
I think it's going to be the game of this first round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think USA wins the World Cup.
Oh my God.
According to Klingsman, he's like, there's no
chance.
chance in hell, man.
Yeah, Rich, for next week, 6 o'clock kicks. I can do 6. I don't know. There's really no games at 6. Good ones, at least.
Not anything I can think of, but whatever. We go and We'll figure
Yeah, that's fine. I'll still watch.
What time do the idiots play on
NXT?
What people on Twitter responded to you, Mike? Islander fans on Twitter?
Yeah, just Isles fans.
Oh, cool.
Chris Howard, a couple other guys.
Really?
Yeah, they all work or are going to be around there, so I figured it'd be good, near trains,
Oh,
near
cool.
people's
I-
offices.
Nice to meet Chris.
I'm
Nice to meet
yeah.
Chris
I'm
in
gonna
person.
try to go because I might not be. I might go to the doctor's tomorrow, not work. So if I can get out, I will. But definitely next week, Mikey. You count me in.
Absolutely.
All right,
what-
gentlemen.
And guys, don't forget Friday the 27th, Nassau Coliseum.
We got to be there at
I'll,
5:30.
I'll firm that up that week. I got to get in touch with Jesse that week before he heads down to Philadelphia.
Mhm.
But I'll firm all that up. I told him I'd email him that week and find out, where we pick up our creds. If it's the same as game day, is it different?
Yeah,
I'll
just let
find
me
all
know
that
timing
out
because I got to
that
cut
week.
out. I don't get out usually till 5:30, so if I have to be there at 5:30, I just gotta cut out.
Well, the draft
what I
party
did.
starts at 5:30. I'll probably, because of traffic considerations, head out there super early and just hang in the parking lot with some fans or something because I can't be on that Bell Parkway at like 4
But guys,
o'clock.
I would
I'd never
I
get
would definitely like. I wouldn't feel comfortable going into that situation without having had a powwow with you guys the night before about what kind of questions we want to ask.
Ask whatever you want to ask, dude. There's no.
No,
you
but
don't
what
need
I'm
to-
saying is it could be somewhat like it can go really terribly wrong for me anyway.
Why? Why do you say that?
What, talking to the Han?
No, well,
No.
talking to I just don't know. Like, I have questions I want to ask him, but I don't know if there are appropriate things to ask.
This is what I did going into the Casey thing. I wrote down 10 questions I wanted to ask Casey. I had them literally on a piece of paper. All I went in there with was my piece of paper and my phone. Sat down with him face to face for about 12 minutes. Asked him my 10 questions. My thing with them is I always want to work in at least one or two, minimum one, sometimes even 2 questions that are like loose. Like everything can't be serious and about hockey and about last season and about camp and what this and that. I like to work in 1 or 2 questions that are really loosey-goosey and really shows or attempts to show anyway the player's personality. Get them laughing a little bit. Get them to like we're like 2 buddies chatting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Rich, I think this is such an informal setting. I mean, the draft party, even if it's before, I think you can ask them whatever you want. They don't care. It's not. I wouldn't worry about professionalism and stuff like that. I think you'll do fine.
All right.
Like Rich, a good example is when I was soliciting questions online for the Casey thing last year. One of the readers wrote in about. Are we still taping?
Yeah.
No, we're not recording anymore.
Okay.
But
One of the
it's
guys wrote in
it's gonna be-
about.
wait.
We're still live?
We're live, and this is going to be on YouTube. So if it's something you don't want to say,
Yeah, I know where you're going with that, Andy. So, yeah.
You know where I'm going with that.
Hold on on
something
that.
had
Text it
happened-
to Rich. Yeah, I
something
would
that
not do
happened
that.
way back when, and I was really. That's the kind of thing you don't want to ask. You know what I mean?
Right. But Rich,
anything about
if you have
game-
non-hockey stuff to
yeah.
ask them, this is
Ask
the
them.
time. It's not during the season. They're not focused on that.
Exactly.
This is the time to get to them.
My most
Well said,
difficult, my most arduous challenge in the box last season was not asking the obvious question that but it seems like every reporter does that as a way
Well,
of
you have
breaking
to
news.
because you have to get that intro quote. You have to get what happened tonight. Cappy, tell us what happened in the third period. Like the bullshit question that's gonna open the gates, so to speak.
And that annoys me. I don't know how
It's
you
really
do it.
annoying because I hate when someone like draws it out. They're like, well, when there were 12 minutes left in the third and you guys were on the power play and you pass it across the point, like, can you tell us what happened? Like, just ask the question.
Yeah.
Don't read me an essay. But yeah, I get it. There are the obvious questions you have to ask, but I mean, this is the time
like
to ask
with-
the non.
like with Casey, I brought up when they had lost the World Junior Championships, the team he was on, and we had like a good chuckle about that. He looked at me, he started laughing. He goes, "Yeah," he puts his hand up. He goes, "I really don't want to talk about that right now." So stuff like that, like go back on the internet or wherever and find out like stuff like that, interesting things that might have happened in their past that you can add to the questions about current events that you're going to ask, and throw 1 or 2 of those in there to kind of let the guy know that you know about him. Let the guy know that you know about where he's come from and what he's done in the past. Let him know that you know that. You know what I'm saying?
Got it. That's a good idea.
And get them smiling, get them loosey goosey, get them relaxed. It doesn't
I
have to
like
be,
the Han. The Han's a really nice guy, man. Really,
Calvin
really.
will be a good interview. I talked to him. He'll be a really good interview for you. I'm worried about Mikey. Really worried about Mike.
I'm worried about this perception that I might get my butt kicked because he doesn't have Twitter, right? I mean, I don't. Are you guys feeding him information about me?
Yes.
Should I be nervous?
I can't
More
say whether I
nervous
am
than
or I'm
am?
not, but
I called him the other day and I told him everything you've ever said.
God damn it! No, I hope you read my report card. I thought that was decent.
I really wish Nabby was going to be there so Rich could have had his one-on-one with Nabby.
Oh,
That
man,
would
that
be
would've
spectacular.
Nabby's the most intimidating guy in the world because he's just
That
so
would have been
damn funny.
spectacular.
How much are the tickets for
$10.
draft?
They're
$10.
free. No, they're free.
No,
Oh,
they're
they're-
$10. They're $10.
They're free. They're free. I have 8 of them. Personally.
Oh, that's right. They're free. The $10 is for the scrimmage. My bad.
Shane,
they're-
Shane, I have 8 tickets to the draft party if you need one.
Come on, Shane, calm down, man.
Yeah, come down and see it.
I think I'm going to. As long as I don't have a game to do that night for the Yankees, I think I'm going to come down.
Let's go. And then you know what we should do? We should all go to Champions across the way.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll stay at my aunt's then if we do that.
Yeah,
I'll
let's
stay at
go.
my aunt's and go home the next morning.
And I'll enjoy some Shirley Temples.
But I have Shane. I have 8 tickets. I scored 8 when they went on sale, so just to have them in my back pocket. So just let me know if you need.
All right, coolness. Wait a minute, and one last thing, Andy. July 10th is a scrimmage. That's a Monday
Yep.
or a Wednesday, right?
No, it's a Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
I'm probably going to be away that week. I'm off work, but I'm probably going to be doing stuff with the kids and stuff and summer things. So I'm
Put me
probably
down
not
as a
gonna make that.
maybe, and unless Mikey wants to do it, put me down as a maybe.
Well, Jesse said we can go credentialed. We just got to let him know who's going.
I really want to go. And I think I told Rich this, but I'm actually changing jobs. It's still at City,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
Andy, but it's downtown, so I don't know if I'll have the leeway to kind of cut out for that. But I really want to go, so I got to find out.
All right. Well, that's
All right.
Thursday, July 10th. We just got to let him know if one of us, any of us, all of us are going, and he'll get his credentials. And
Well, if we can both go, then I can help Mikey. I'll take you, and then we come back together.
Yeah, that'd be
we
sick.
can. Jesse didn't. There's no credential restrictions on off-season activities.
So let's
We can
go,
all-
Mikey.
Yeah,
if you
we
can,
should.
let me know, and then we'll go, and I'll drive you home. No worries.
Yeah. Let me
That
find
one
out for sure.
credential. That one credential per site applies only during the
regular
games.
season.
Only for
Mhm.
games.
All right. All right.
boys.
All right. So then we'll talk to each other soon, guys, and thank you.
All right, fellas.
I got to go
All right,
play
guys.
hockey.
All right, man. Have a good
Have
night.
fun.
Later, guys.
Later.
All right, boys.